Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress of Comic News, episode 258. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my Ahoy-loving co-host, Mike.
Hey, it's 2 Ahoy weeks in a row, Chris. I get to wear the shirt twice, and are you gonna ask me if I washed it? It's gonna be you have to join our Patreon and find out.
Yeah.
It's gonna remain a mystery. And if you join the Patreon, you're the top tier subscriber. You actually get this shirt that I wore for these 2 weeks. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, I'm going to start a Patreon level that's like Mike's used shirts.
Yeah, we would lose listeners very rapidly. Like, I don't
know. No offense to you, but like, you know those really creepy, like, I don't know, are they VTubers or whatever they're called?
Yeah, they sell
but they do
water.
Like and other clothing items.
Yeah,
I don't think we'd be that successful.
No, I don't think so. We'd still be where we are with less subscribers. Today on the show, we do have an interview, and it's with an Ahoy Comics writer, first-time Ahoy Comics writer. Alyssa Quitney will be on the show, everybody. We're going to talk about Guilt #1. Talked about it a little last week with Tom Pear. Now we have the writer on the show. So I'm going to break it down. It comes out in a couple weeks. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. Old ladies time traveling. What can go wrong?
I know, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to talk to her about that, like, where the time travel part of it came from. But nothing too crazy this week. Did I watch anything? Finishing up The Righteous Gemstones season 2 was crazier than season 1. I don't know if you've watched that on HBO yet, but it's pretty hilarious. Yeah, so it's oh man, it has a huge list of famous actors. The second season, so it's about the Righteous Gemstones are like, they make fun of like those evangelical Christians with the giant churches, the mega churches.
Okay.
And so there's the father and then like the 3 kids, and Danny McBride is one of the kids, and I think he helps write the show.
Jesus.
Yeah, so he's like the oldest kid.
I'm in.
Yeah, and the father. Oh my god, I cannot believe I'm going to mess up the name right now. I can't think of the name. You can help me out here with the Big Lebowski, but not the dude. And he was also
good. Jesus.
John Goodman.
Yes. Goodman. Yeah.
Yeah. So he plays the father. And then there's a bunch of characters that pop up. Like the second season, the John Goodman's brother is another famous actor you've seen before. But he like leaves his son early, like in his life, and then comes back to meet him, and it's like randomly Macaulay Culkin. I don't know if that was because like he left his son alone and never came home. Like that was the joke there. But dude, it like plays on the whole, we need money, more money, and that's how we worship God thing. And then each of the children are like trying to win over the business and like run the family business, which is the church, and it's like them bickering with each other. And also the second season, you find out John Goodman has a past. He's fantastic in it. That guy is so good. I highly recommend it. It's hilarious.
So I watched the 1990s classic cinematic masterpiece Captain America this week.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Oh man,
it's not the first time either. I'm doing a podcast on it with some friends, so I mean, when that comes out, I'll let you all know. But that movie is more exquisite than I remember it being.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude. So in the first act is just the origin. So it's like he gets the super soldier serum, then becomes Captain America, and then he goes out and fights Red Skull. And the Red Skull costume is just so bad.
rubber costume.
Yeah. And then the second act, he is in the present. He's frozen and gets back, and we find out that the Red Skull. Oh, by the way, the Nazis are all Italian.
Amazing.
We find out that the Red Skull is actually like. So first of all, the background of this movie is really weird because like there's this moment where you meet this little kid in the beginning, and Cap saves him, and that kid becomes the president when Cap is unfrozen,
What?
and
Okay.
and that guy's best friend is Alex Jones, who believes like all these weird conspiracy theories, except he's correct about all of them.
Oh.
And because one of them was like Captain America was a thing. And yeah, it's so fucking weird. But anyways, another one is that the Red Skull is still alive, and he actually is a globalist that controls everything, along with the head of the United States military and a bunch of other corporations.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I make the Alex Jones comparison. But the Red Skull has decided that he's still going to wear his. They still put the rubber mask on him, but they put like makeup on it so he has skin. It's fucking weird. And then but somehow the Red Skull now has hair in the future, and they slick it back.
Oh no!
So you know he's a businessman.
Oh yeah, so now
It's
yeah.
so good. And then as I'm watching it too, I'm just thinking like this was Marvel's like answer to Batman.
Yeah,
because Batman came out '89, so I'm like, this is what Marvel said. Like, I see what you're doing there, Tim Burton.
This is how we do it better. It just didn't.
So,
the problem was they didn't have Tim Burton.
Dude, it's so it's one of those movies that's so bad it's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But so I watched that. I watched The Boys Diabolical. Did you get a chance to watch that?
I have not watched that yet, but I'll get around to it.
So I'll say this: it's you can watch it one sitting. It's like they're shorts; they're not actual episodes.
Oh, okay.
Which I must have misunderstood. But first episode's really good. It's the baby with the laser eyes, and it's just a Looney Tunes episode, just with way more gore.
Okay.
The second episode is the Rick and Morty guys.
Okay.
And each episode is a different style too. So like the second episode looks like an episode of Rick and Morty. Cool. And what it is it's all like the reject superheroes. So like one of them's boob face.
Okay.
And he literally has two boobs for a face. The other one, his superpower is that his scrotum is super hot and he can burn through anything with it. Like
a lightsaber.
Shit like this. Yeah. And then obviously he pulls out the Morty voice at some point and does a character.
Okay.
And then they kind of gets consistently worse in my opinion because they take away like the first two are really fun and like goofy, and then they try to get serious with them. And I was just kind of like, this isn't what I want out of the boys. Yeah, like they're not bad, but they're just not what I wanted.
Right.
Until the last episode, which is all about Homelander and basically him becoming a part of the Seven, and his first kind of buddy moment with Black Noir. So I watched that too. All in all, not bad. You can watch it in one sitting, like I said.
Yeah, I'll have to check. I keep forgetting that it even came out. Like, and I bet on Amazon too. You think they would like be posting it like, "Hey, you should watch this," and I don't think I've seen it. Like,
I had to go look for it. Yeah, so
it's weird.
And then I discovered a new passion in life this week.
What's that? What did you discover?
The PFL.
Okay.
This is the Pillow Fighting League.
Oh. It's like Sock and Boppers, but more serious. Do you remember Sock and Boppers?
Yes, I'm planning on quitting my day job and just training.
Okay.
No, but this is a thing, and it really like so. One of the guys actually in it like dresses up like the Joker and goes out and fights people.
Yeah. Wait, so is this like are they like they get together for events like wrestling, or are they just like pillow fighting people on the street?
No, this is like, dude. It looks like UFC, except it's in like a wrestling ring, not an octagon.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and like I went on their website, you can get like Pillow Fighting League pillows.
Oh my god.
And like athletic gear and stuff. Like it's legit.
How do you win a pillow fight? Like you actually knock the person out with it, or?
I didn't get that far. I was just watching clips, like just amazed that this was a thing that existed. And they just signed like a big like TV contract too, which makes it even better.
Oh my god. I mean, it sounds like something you would see on the Ocho, so it doesn't really surprise me.
I mean, we're at that point. You can there's professional cornball or cornhole?
Cornhole. Yeah,
cornhole, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the Ocho exists. It's a thing.
the backyard drinking game is professional now. It's wild, man. Yeah, I'm just terrible at all those things.
But if you have some free time, check out the Pillow Fighting League. It's
I just
pretty
can't believe this.
exceptional.
Like, how do you tell someone that seriously? Like, oh, what do you do? Oh, PFL. It's like a pillow fighting league. It's like you're joking, right? How do you how do you get anybody to support you in that? Like,
Dude, so one of the clips I watched, it's right on their website too. Like there's an 8-minute video of just like clips from different fights. And one of them was the guy that dresses up like the Joker.
mm-hmm.
He ends up knocking the pillow out of the other guy's hand, and then he just starts wailing him with the pillow, and the guy gets so pissed, and it turns into like, in like football or any sport where like you tell when a guy really gets mad and they start to like get in each other's face and swing.
Yeah.
Like that happened. I'm just like, this is pillow fighting, guys. What's going on?
Yeah, you can't be mad that you're gonna get hit with a pillow. You can't be using fists. That defeats the whole purpose. Yeah. Oh my god.
I lost about 2 hours of my life to this.
Are the people that doing it physically fit?
Mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I wish I knew his actual name, but the Joker guy like looks like he could be in the UFC. He looks like he failed to be in the UFC and was like, fuck it, I'll just use a pillow instead.
Yeah, had too many concussions. Now he's like, I just need to get hit with a pillow.
Yeah.
They're like...
But then the referee who's like breaking up the fights and everything, he looks like me, except bald and like a little bit shorter.
Yeah, that's awesome. I bet this started like one of these guys is a UFC fighter, and his doctor was like, "Listen, you have too many concussions. You can't go out there and fight." And he's like, "No, I could do it, doc." He's like, "The only way you can get back in the ring is if you guys are using pillows, because there's no way you can not take another shot to the face and survive." And he's like, "That's a great idea."
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Pillow fighting league. Oh my god. Anyways,
so I've had an eventful week.
Yeah, I mean, holy crap, that's awesome. I went and saw a live show actually, which is kind of strange. I haven't done that in a while. Proctor's Theater is near us that does a lot of Broadway shows. It's like the first stop after Broadway shows leave New York City is Proctor's in Schenectady, New York. I went and saw Dear Evan Hansen. These were tickets I bought for my girlfriend for Christmas, and it's not a show that I was like looking out of my own to go to, but I heard it was good. The music was really good. So I don't know if you know the premise of it. It's very depressing. It's depressing, but it's like you can't say it's funny because it's a story about suicide, but there's a lot of funny interactions between people because there's like a lot of awkward moments because the main character is very awkward. He's going to therapy. He's writing these stories to himself saying, "Dear Evan Hansen," every day to get himself out and like, cause he's very introverted. So while he's writing these letters, this kid who's like seen as like a tough guy at school, picks one of his letters up and brings it home, and he actually commits suicide. And all his parents find on him when he's after they find him is this note that says, "Dear Evan Hansen." And it's like a motivational note for the kid to himself, but everybody thinks that Evan Hansen is this guy's best friend. So this kid decides to start a whole lie that they were best friends. And like, digs himself into and starts this huge like social media campaign. But like and he becomes like popular from it, and then it's like the whole fallout from that because he's like there's other side stories of like he's in love with the guy's sister that committed suicide and stuff like that. And he's always been in love with her. I mean, but it's interesting. Like, I mean, obviously it's about suicide awareness. The music is fantastic. I think there's a movie out right now. I've heard the movie isn't as great as the musical, but it still gives you the story. I think it's on HBO right now, but I recommend it. I was laughing quite a bit through it. Obviously, there's a lot of very sad moments, so bring your tissues. But overall, I mean, I just like live shows like that.
So is it like dark humor, or is it like trying to lighten the mood humor?
Okay, so there's very serious moments, but the humor is like, so he gets his family friend to write. He has to orchestrate emails between him and this kid that committed suicide to make it look like they're friends.
Hmm.
and he was like talking to his friend about it. He's like, yeah, I talked to his parents and I said that we emailed each other on a private email, and he's like, oh, they definitely think you're gay. Like, because the way he's describing
Okay.
it's like, yeah, he's like, we were good friends, and he's like, okay, let me type these emails out for you, and he's like, he starts one of the emails with, he's like, I rub my nipples when I think about you and all this stuff, and it's like that type of humor, it's like
So
humor
trying to lighten
between,
the mood.
yeah, it's trying to lighten the
Yeah.
mood between like the high
Yeah.
school students. So um yeah, overall it's pretty fantastic. The music was really good. Yeah.
Because I in my head I'm thinking of the movie. You ever seen Funny People?
I don't think so, no.
It's Seth Rogen and Adam Sandler, and
Mm-hmm.
they play comedians trying to make it and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not about suicide, but it's a lot about depression and
Mm-hmm.
like that kind of shit, which I
Yep.
can connect. Obviously, I can connect with. But there's a lot of dark humor throughout it, like
Oh, okay.
joking about that,
Yeah.
and like I also enjoy that stuff too. So
Right.
that's where I was trying to make the figure out where it was going with it,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, suicide's a serious thing, but
Oh yeah.
there's somebody smarter than me could make a dark humor comedy
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
for sure. Yeah.
So that's what I was wondering.
And
Yeah,
I mean, while doing so, it's almost your responsibility um, to put out the all the things there for suicide awareness and helplines and all that
yeah,
stuff. So overall, really good. It's almost a story about like not being alone in high school. I think we've all been there. So
yeah.
overall, great story. So check out the movie if you want. I think it's on HBO. But the music, I really enjoy the music. So, but yeah, we do have a little bit of news, I guess. Um, According to Deadline Hollywood article, Marvel is moving forward with Richard Ryder / Nova project. So we're going to get something involving Nova. This project is written by Moon Knight writer Sabir Perzada, and it's unknown whether it's going to be a Disney Plus series or a feature film. I have to assume it's going to be a Disney series
Yeah.
for Richard Ryder.
I
I don't know.
Yeah, Richard Rider's tough. I know he has his fans, and I enjoy when he pops up in things,
Right.
but that'd be a tough feature film. Especially, it's gonna be interesting how they weave that in, because they kind of made the Nova Corps almost a joke
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
MCU. So I'll be interested to see how they do that. But
Yeah, it's
I'm down
true. They
for it.
really, yeah, they really are kind of comical. I didn't think about that in the movies. They're
Yeah,
supposed
and they
they're supposed to
don't
be like Green Lanterns in the comics, right?
basically. I mean,
Yeah.
they're in as much as they're space cops.
Right.
Uh, but they didn't give them the superpower, which is any. So that's like the connection is they're space cops, and then they get the helmet instead of a ring,
Mm-hmm.
and they get that superpower. And none of the Nova Corps had like any kind of superpowers. So
Mm.
I don't know. I'm sure
Interesting.
somebody smarter than me is going to figure it out, but I'll be interested
Yeah.
to see how they do it.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Some movie news: Marvel or Warner Brothers, not Marvel, released a deleted scene from the Batman featuring Kugan's Joker. Did you watch this? I haven't watched it yet.
I did.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the Heath Ledger scene
Hmm.
where they're in the precinct together.
Yep.
So it's Joker's behind glass, and Sparkly Bats gives him like basically a folder of all the Riddler's crimes,
Hmm.
and they have a back and forth, and you can tell that they've known each other for a while at this point.
Hmm.
And it's just Batman trying to get like information, like trying to get inside the head of a serial killer kind of
Yep.
moment. I, was, I didn't mind it. It wasn't like groundbreaking.
Right.
It was kind of expected. I thought they overdid it on the prosthetics, because it's like his face is all like bubbled up
Oh.
and like scarred, and
Hmm.
then his hair too. Like there's moments where, because you don't see like a full on picture of him, he's kind of
Right.
shaded and in
Yeah.
darkness a little bit, but you can tell like something's wrong. Like his hair's all clumpy and
Hmm.
there's bald spots everywhere. But then when you see it from one angle and it's almost head on, it's like perfect. It's green. It's got like kind of the
Yeah.
raggediness to it, and
Hmm.
so there's good and bad to it.
Yeah.
Uh,
So it has to be the conversation that Matt Reeves was talking about. Like that was what they took out of the movie to kind of show people that like Joker won't be the villain in the next movie, that he's already had his history with him kind of moment. Like they've already, that was his year one, was like putting Joker in jail.
Yeah, I mean it's easily fixed for a second movie, but
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, but I hope not.
I'm glad it wasn't in the movie. I'll say
Yeah.
that it added nothing
Mm-hmm.
other than just the idea that like he's been around and that he already had an adventure with Joker.
Right. Okay. All right, let's hop to this interview with Alyssa Whitney, and we will see everybody on the other side.
And we're back.
Back to the other side. Yeah, so check out Guilt #1 coming to comic book shops in 2 weeks. Like a week and a half, I guess, 1 week from when this releases actually. So
Yeah.
be on the lookout. Ahoy Comics, local comic shops, pre-order now. Yeah, loving Ahoy Comics, so you should too.
Yeah, looking forward to this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love me some time travel. So
yeah.
Okay, so a little bit of comic book news, and we'll talk about what we read. DC Comics has announced a new Poison Ivy miniseries coming from the writer Willow Wilson and artist Marcio Takara. The series will see Ivy leave Gotham to head out into the world and try to heal damage humanity has dealt to the planet. So she's working for Greenpeace and and Habitat for Humanity and all these great different nonprofits, and she's going to help everybody. Honestly, like this makes the most sense, right? Because Ivy's character. So, like, okay, I wasn't too interested in the series until they talked about that, because Ivy's always sitting in Gotham, like, you guys are hurting the planet. I'm gonna live in my vines, and it's like you literally have the green power, like you could change things, instead of just killing people that harm plants. So this is pretty interesting. I might check it out.
My only question here is, are you gonna try to make me like make Ivy a hero? Like, is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, that's not a thing either. Like, she's still like, she's probably gonna be like, if she goes into like Monsanto and kills like the whole executive staff, like that's that's more of like an Ivy thing, I would think.
I feel like this is what they're trying to do. They want their Be Green comic, which whatever.
Yeah.
You could probably do it better with Swamp Thing, but
Yep.
you're gonna do it with Ivy. And at the end of the day, like either you're gonna make me care about Ivy and think that she's doing good, or she's an eco-terrorist, and then your whole point for the whole book goes out the window because she's the bad guy.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
So, but Willow Wilson, stuff I've read by her, I like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't seek her out, but
I will say
she's the one that created Miss Marvel, so
true.
yeah.
But I will say I'm more excited for this book than a Catwoman book I have ever been for a Catwoman book.
Yeah. I can go with that. Yeah, I know what they're going for. I know it's not for me, but
we'll see.
I wonder when they do that sometimes. Like, I can see what you're trying to push, but I wonder if you picked the wrong character to do it with.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean they handle Harley Quinn pretty well, I think. At least Stephanie Phillips does, as far as being a villain or a hero. So,
yeah, Harley's been making that transition for a while.
Yeah, they haven't like gone full blown with it though.
Because like, when's the last time Harley was like fighting the Batman?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
And I don't want to take Ivy off the table as a Bat villain, personally.
Yeah, right.
I mean, she's not my favorite Bat villain, but like, you can do some cool stories with her.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Who
I
knows?
agree.
Guys have gone back and forth before.
Yeah.
Magneto.
Yeah, is he a villain anymore? Who the hell knows? All right, let's talk about Magneto was like the Black Adam of DC. Black Adam's just a hero now. I guess.
You actually read my mind, because my next comment was going to be like, he rules a nation now. Which
Yeah.
Black Adam does too.
Which Black Adam does. I actually had a friend ask me that recently. They're like, "So why are we getting a Black Adam movie? Isn't he a villain?" I was like, I explained it. I was like, "Well, he's an anti-hero, but in this movie, he's going to be working with the Justice Society. So is he? He's probably going to more likely be a hero. I don't know. We'll see."
We got a Venom movie. He eats people. We're getting a Morbius movie. He's a
Oh
vampire. We're
god,
getting
the
a
earlier,
Craven
yeah.
movie.
I just
Yeah.
can't wait till I stop seeing ads for that Morbius movie because I do not want to see it.
Oh, I'll let you all know what I think next week.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah, I got
All
invited
right.
to go see it. So
Oh, there you go. Comic notes. Let's talk about what we read this week. I know you read Task Force Z like I did, number 6.
correct.
The best part. So this is Matthew Rosenberg and Herbert on the art. Uh, the best part about this issue is the title on the cover is "The Bat and the Furious." So the Fast.
As soon as I read that, I'm like, Mike's loving this.
Yeah, hell yeah. I thought that was pretty great. KG Beast still has the Red Hood tied up. There's a fight, and KG Beast loses, blows himself up. We also get a look into the background of when they were first developing the Lazarus pill, and Mr. Bloom has kind of like, he kind of was the traitor at first and took some clones from the lab with him and kind of set everything in motion. We find out later that like he was the big bad, because at first, like, you look at Mr. Bloom, you're like, damn dude, like, how did you get in this situation? Because when Scott Snyder wrote him, he was more of like a very orchestrator of, like, you know, all these great things. So
He also got kind of screwed.
yeah
Because the team who does it with them, they're like, "Aren't you happy we did it?" And he's like, "Yeah. Do I get anything out of it?" And they're like,
yeah
"Nah, nah, you don't."
just like corporate pharmaceutical companies. Oh, you developed the drugs? Great, we'll take the money and you guys get a pizza party. Pretty much. Yeah, so I think that was pretty interesting to kind of say, yeah, there's more to Mr. Bloom than we thought. Two-Face takes KG Beast's body because he's gonna do some weird zombie shit to him. And Red Hood goes with them, and Batman shows up to stop him. He's like, dude, you can't be hanging with these villains. They're gonna do villain shit. Red Hood's like, man, no, we're trying to save the day right now. And eventually gets Batman to back off. The overall plan was a senator was funding Two-Face to organize this zombie team to get a meeting with Amanda Waller and be like, look, we did your Suicide Squad better than you did, pretty much, to like get a seat with her there. And one of the people they approach her with is Merman or someone like that, and she says the Merman is something Aquaman's mistress should have aborted. I wrote in the notes, "LOL, damn." So like that's how you write Amanda Waller, not pulling any punches.
And just to throw the other side too, because we made the joke about corporate America.
Yeah,
there's also the fact that like all the government people here are just doing shady shit all the time.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
It's like, so nobody's a good guy. Okay.
Yeah. One Waller was the one who got them started, but now she's gone missing. And the reveal at the end was like Mr. Bloom was actually behind it all, like got the senator to get everybody to start this. So pretty interesting issue.
I'm shocked that a senator could be bought off.
Yeah, bribe senator. What the hell? Deathstroke Incorporated number 7. This is Williamson and Segovia on the art. Deathstroke's daughter Ravager brings Respawn with her to get to Deathstroke and be like, what the hell are you doing? Respawn is actually, he came from another book, I think. He looks like Damian Wayne, but he has white hair, and his costume kind of looks like Deadpool.
He came from the book Robin, starring Damian Wayne.
Okay. So he's a clone. He's actually a clone of Talia and Deathstroke that Ra's al Ghul made. So it's kind of interesting. He was taking body parts from his daughter to like fix. He was taking body parts from Ravager to like torturing, because Ravager can heal. So he was like torturing Respawn and then like reattaching body parts to him. It's really fucked up. Respawn kicks out Ravager, and him and Deathstroke are pretty much like, we're going to train together and work together, and they head on to this other, they're going to, I don't know, rule the secret society, and something is coming up called the Shadow War. Um, and then the epilogue is that Luther and the Legion of the Doom. So the Legion of Doom calls up Luther, and there's a spot for Joker there, and it says on vacation. I thought that was pretty funny. So they're concerned about Deathstroke and him starting the secret society because they know how much of a killer he is, and he's very, very good at what he does. And then they tease something called the Dark Crisis coming. So it's pretty interesting. It's tying into a couple books. I like Deathstroke, so I'll keep reading it. Rogues number one. Yeah.
Williamson's got a lot going on, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. Yeah. Rogues number one, probably the best book. I don't know. There's a tie this week, but like to have Rogues, My Bad, and Godzilla versus Power Rangers in 1 week, it's hard to pick a favorite. Rogues number one, Williamson, Leo Max, and the art is amazing. The colors are amazing. They really, I don't know, the like the purples, the light blues. I love that shit. This book was so good, and I know you were really excited for it. You were right, man. This is the book. This is better than any Flash book I've read lately. Don't tell that to our our Flash friend. Oh, speaking of Flash, I have Flash facts, and I'll do them probably after this. Okay. Yeah, so where do we start? Retired Leonard Snart, Captain Cold. He's an old man now. I guess, I don't know. They're probably going to put him in his like 40s, early 50s. He's working a manufacturing job. He's seen as a joke. This is 10 years after he kind of like quits. He gets mad from being like teased all the time. He makes himself a new parka and goggles because obviously that's what you do. And we find out that like Weather Wizard and Boomerang are both dead. His sister, who's Golden Glider, if anybody knows that, she wants nothing to do with him. She's like a social worker trying to actually help people. And this issue, he's basically rounding up, like he heard about a heist back in the day that like Gorilla Grodd on Gorilla Island is pretty much like a dragon, like Smaug, sitting on a pile of gold, pretty much. That's uncounted. It's just a pile of gold. And they think, why would we not just go rob him because none of it is accounted for? Seems pretty good. So he pretty much recruits all the old rogues. He gets Magenta, Bronze Tiger, Heat Wave, of course. I love that everybody has all these other lives they're living now, and Heat Wave is pretty much just burning buildings down still.
And required no explanation.
No
he's
explanation.
Just, yeah, I'm in.
Yep. Yeah, he's like, I'm in. They need to break Mirror Master out of like a mental hospital so they can get into the Gorilla Grodd compound. And that's kind of interesting. At the end, it gets kind of serious because like there's security to meet them, and Leonard or Captain Cold freezes them, and then he like starts killing them and said, now the cops will actually be after us. Now you guys are committed to helping me. You can't turn back now. I thought that was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, I love this issue. It was exactly what I wanted it to be, being kind of that like, last dance, last big heist. The characters are awesome. Yeah, everybody should check this book out. It's worth the $6.99.
Oh yeah, for sure. My Bad, Mark Russell, Bryce Ingman, and Peter Krause on the art. Fantastic art. I think it's a great finish to the first volume. We get a glimpse of this awful Canadian hero named Legroom, and he can like stretch his legs, and it's pretty hilarious. And like when Emperor King meets him, this is like a flashback. He's like, you're actually really short, and you stretch your legs to make yourself not look short. He gets like really pissed about it.
You should have called them man spreading.
Man spreading, great. Chandelier outs himself, and Emperor King. So like Chandelier like meets up with. He goes to the West Coast, and he gets these people that he thinks are heroes, but they're not. They're like actors in costumes because he's in Hollywood, and he stops like Emperor King from like doing this big promotion, and what he's trying to do is promote this vehicle safety project with Rush Hour. And it's funny because like Rush Hour is on the sign, and it's in the same font as Rush Hour the movie. But he outs himself because he thinks that Emperor King knew who he was, but the plan was that Emperor King knew that Chandelier had to be somebody rich, so he sent like stupid gifts to all of the billionaires in the city. No, like thinking that one of them would finally come to him and be like, "How did you know it was me?" And Chandelier did that, so everybody knows who Chandelier is. Um, he outed himself, and so like he goes back to like hiding. Nobody likes him or Chandelier. And then it kind of ends with Chandelier going to Lionel Richie, if you remember me talking about him before. Because he's in jail now, and saying like, "I need your help." Well, he's not in jail; he's in a zoo. But so Chandelier is going to probably try to get back at him for like ruining his life. Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #1. Cullen Bunn and Williams II on the art. Great first issue. If you would have asked me, "Hey Mike, what do you want to read in the first issue of Power Rangers versus Godzilla?" I want Godzilla versus Dragonzord. That's what I got. I got the Green Ranger in another multiverse with the Dragonzord fighting Godzilla, getting his ass kicked by Godzilla, because everybody knows Godzilla always wins. So never lost, undefeated. And then the rest of the Power Rangers show up. That's a perfect first issue to me. You don't need to explain any more to me. That's it. Like,
I didn't even realize this came out this week until you said something. But yeah, don't reinvent the wheel. Just
yeah.
That's simple. That's all you need with a book like this.
Cullen Bunn gets it, man. This is like a really good horror writer. He's wrote some like head spinning shit, but like you don't need that. This is Power Rangers versus Godzilla. This is, and like I tweeted about, this is taking action figures and smashing them together. That's all it is. Like, Okay, Saga #57, my last book here. Brian K. Vaughan, Fiona Staples. There it is. There's the book, everybody. We get a flashback that Alana had her wings like cut off when this is definitely like I feel like they put this in here after. I don't know if this is the plan from the beginning. But like they flash back, they're like, "Oh, remember when we were at that wolf who was a doctor? Yeah, she operated on my wings, and now you can tell that I never had wings. You can't tell." So when she shows them to the pirate that's like freaking out and like talking about murdering her family, there's no sign that she ever had wings. So he calms down, and they leave together to go on like a deal to make, sell some shit. They leave the kids alone, and I can't remember the guy she's working with, the new guy with like the one arm.
Mm-hmm.
But like one of the kids that's on the ship says he looks familiar, and like used to be this like awful vigilante guy that would like, was really good at fighting, had a giant axe or something like that. And he goes, "No, I just look familiar." And it kind of ends with him like standing there with a machete or something in his hand. You're like, "Oh yeah, this dude is definitely that person." So I can't wait to see that, like see him actually like let loose, and because he's definitely hiding for something too. And then the Will brings. We know he has Marco's skull, and he brings it to the Robot King on behalf of like their whole enemy in the war, which there's something going on there. I'm not entirely sure that it's Marco's skull still. I don't know. Like, it seems to, I don't know. And even the description of like why he brought it there, nothing. It doesn't make sense to the Robot King, but he doesn't care because like his son is dead, and that's like, the payback for it. So, I think overall interesting issue. Wasn't very preachy. Wasn't very on the nose like the last couple ones. So I thought it was all around pretty good.
Yeah, in that sense, it was the best issue. In other senses, it was like a lot of backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes me laugh every time I see the King, and he's like a giant flat screen TV.
It's amazing. Yeah,
something about that just hits right.
I had Shang-Chi #10 this week, but I did not get to read it yet. So,
all right. So I had Venom. Well, actually, let's start with. This is from a few weeks back, but I want to talk about it. Captain Carter #1.
Okay.
This follows the kind of the Captain Carter we know from comics, not the one you met in What If. So she still got frozen and then was thawed out and blah 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 blah.
Right.
But we're meeting her as she thaws out and goes back into society, and the British government's trying to figure out what to do with her. Okay. And it seems like it's happening right around the boom of superheroes. So the British government sees her as their way to like have their own hero that they can have and manipulate. and it's a lot of back and forth with that. Pretty good issue altogether. Not really reinventing the wheel on anything, but
Mm-hmm.
fun. And I always enjoy seeing Captain Carter. Elektra, Black, White, and Blood #3. I bought this because this is the first book that David Posey's doing with Marvel.
Nice.
So he has a little story in here. It's Elektra versus Black Widow in the Red Room. Pretty good, but it's an anthology book. I didn't expect like the greatest ever. It's just a fun, like probably 6 to 8 page story.
Cool.
Venom Lethal Protector #1. This was them doing what Marvel's doing a lot of, which is let's set a book back when people loved it and tell a story with the original creator.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the guy who wrote Venom, who created Venom alongside Todd McFarlane. I forget his name now, but and it's back in the '90s. So it's when Venom's at that point where he's no longer a villain. He's trying to be an anti-hero, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And this villain shows up. I forget the name of the villain now, but it's like the shittiest villain. He can talk to like insects. But then you end up finding out that
That's awesome.
he actually is like super powerful and can actually use the abilities of the insects.
Oh.
And like, so he ends up defeating Venom in the first issue, and then everybody takes him really seriously.
Awesome.
It was a fun issue. I enjoy Venom when he shows up. Ghost Cage #1.
Mm.
This was do you remember the book East of West that Hickman did?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the artist Stragata.
Mm-hmm.
So this is his new book at Image.
Okay.
It's got really big manga vibes
Oh,
throughout
okay.
it.
Yeah.
It feels like a Japanese manga.
Okay.
Basically, this town has this giant corporation that has a huge building, and they control all of the power in the town.
Mm-hmm.
And you end up finding out that it's like through all this weird mystical shit that's going on. So like, there's a hydro level, but there's like a creature that controls the water to make the hydroelectricity. You go down another one. There's this, and it's just them going through the different places. I don't know. It was okay, but it felt like 4 volumes of a manga put into one issue.
Uh-huh.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm gonna keep reading it or not. But.
Okay.
And then my last, I got a Kickstarter that came through. Speaking of Cullen Bunn, Beyond Mortal.
Oh,
#1.
nice. Yes.
Did you end up doing this?
I think I did. Maybe I didn't get my issue yet. I'll have to look.
So, just to simplify it, most of the characters are. It feels like the DC. It feels like something that he pitched for the DC universe. So all the characters are DC characters essentially.
Okay.
And there's some mystical thing that happens with the character who's definitely not Dr. Fate, and he unleashes this creature that is going to just destroy the planet, and it's up to the not Justice League to save him. I really enjoyed it. There's some little things about the issue, like some of the lettering's fine, but then like when they do the intros to some of the characters, like there's not Superman, and like the way that's written there is really tough to read.
Yeah.
Other than that, I really like the issue, and it ends with. Let me see. I read this like 2 weeks ago, so now I gotta go back and remind myself, everybody. Yeah, it ends with the Dr. Fate guy kind of meeting up with the big villain, and them striking a deal because he knows that in the future that he actually wins and all the heroes die.
Oh, damn.
And that's how it ends. But there's going to be an issue 2, and in issue 2 we're getting Split Second.
Oh.
So we got a guy who runs real fast.
Of course.
The good issue, it's like the size of an anthology book. Or not anthology, like a 100-page book.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. It's a lot of comic for one, but
nice.
That's everything I had this week, Mike.
I'm going to do the Pat's flash facts really quick.
Okay, let's do it.
I forgot at the beginning of the episode. Season 8, episode 8. This episode starts a new story arc for Barry and the gang. The team is investigating a burn victim and arrests Jaco Birch, aka Hotness, for the murder. When Jaco is arrested, is in front of his son and claims he's innocent. Barry thinks he is innocent, although all the evidence is against him. Situation reminding Barry a lot about his dad's arrest. It also happens to be his dad's birthday. Barry is able to prove that Jaco is innocent and is released. The episode ends with Barry and his family celebrating Henry, and also Team Flash trying to figure out who the real killer is. So a pretty straightforward Flash episode. If it was to continue.
Nobody went back in time.
Nobody went back in time. Just a crime show right now. It was a CSI episode.
So speaking of CSI, Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
Nice. You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
Well, they can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter and the show at FortressComics _ on the Twitter. And also at FortressComicNews.com. Remember, everybody, to check out the affiliate links down below to support us, and also patreon.com/FortressComics. And if you want the free way to support us, there's always the 5-star review on our podcast you use. So like, subscribe, share, comment down below on the YouTube, and all that fun stuff. We always really appreciate it. Thank you all for listening this week. We'll see you all here next week.